This is for the culture.
All right. All right. What's up, everybody? This is Dr. CI, and the name of this new show is called For the Culture. Welcome. Now, what is For the Culture? Why did I decide to do it? So I wanted to create a space for us, and when I say us, I mean underrepresented and marginalized people, but especially the Black community, to talk about things that impact our culture in ways that we wouldn't have imagined or that we wouldn't have thought of, or some of us were thinking of, but we just needed a space to talk about it, right? We all gonna come from different spaces, from different places. Even as Black people, we come from different backgrounds. And because of that, we don't all think the same. And so today I'm gonna be talking about just different events that are happening currently and how either they're for the culture or not for the culture, and what you need to be thinking about as you explore them or you think about exploring them. So I'm always going to start with 3 points, which is the main thing. What is it that I want to talk about? The problem. What are all the issues? What it is that we know? And then what are the solutions? Okay, so remember, it's the main thing, it's the problem, what it is that we know, and the solution. Y'all got that? Yeah? All right, well then let's kick it off. So today's episode is talking about children are not dumb, right? That's the main thing. The main thing is that children are not dumb. Where did that come from? Well, the problem is I was scrolling through social media on my phone the other day, and what I saw were that people were talking about the movie Soul, which is a great movie. That's the number one fact, okay? The movie Soul, featuring Jamie Foxx, that just came out on Disney Plus, is a great movie. But what happened is when people saw this movie, I saw tweets and posts and things like, oh, I don't think it's for children. It's very deep and meaningful. I watched it with my children, but I don't think that they got the message. Well, guess whose job it is to reinforce the message? Yours, as the parent and as the caretaker, okay? That is absolutely the problem, is that people don't think the movie Soul is for kids. Now let's get to some of the facts. The first fact is that we know that Soul is a great movie. I've already stated that. It's very deep. It's got some great things about spirituality, about purpose, about life, about inspiration and motivation. I mean, it speaks to all of these things. All of these things most children, at least ages 4 and above, completely understand, right? I'm not saying you got to sit down with your newborn and explain what kind of movie Soul is. What I'm saying is that if you have children who are cognitively able, and I mean that in a way where they can understand what you're saying things to them, then you need to be talking to them about this movie. That is a fact. Another fact is that we, as people, adults, need to understand how to teach our children things, right? Outside of what they learn in education, because the institution of education, whether public or private, which has great opportunities for children, I'm not taking away from public or private school in any way, shape, or form. But what I'm saying is that the curriculum within most of those schools prepares you to be some sort of servant in the world in some way, shape, or form. Whether you go on to be an entrepreneur, which most schools don't prepare you for, what we've done is we industrialize children to say, you got to think this way, you got to talk this way, you got to be this way, you got to believe this way, you got to celebrate these holidays. It is a fact that we teach them those things in school, right? Many people are teaching to a test. I know, because I used to be an educator. I used to help teach children to a test. So I get it. I understand it. And that is a fact. But what your job is to make sure that you are speaking to children in a way that humanizes them and gives them a chance to process very deep and meaningful content in some way, shape, or form. So whether you are religious or spiritual, if you're religious, I'm sure you talk to your kids about God or Jesus or Catholicism, etc. If you are not religious, maybe you spiritual, maybe you atheist, you don't believe in either, then you still have a responsibility to talk to your children, right? Or the people that you care for that are younger than you, your younger siblings, etc. It's not just about parents, it's about caretakers, it's about guardians, it's about being older brother, sister, auntie, uncle, grandpa, grandfather, etc. All right? Whatever you go by. What I'm saying is that you have lived life to a certain extent, and you can process these messages if you are aware and open enough to do that, and the things that soul teaches you. So sit down with your children and ask them questions, and don't just tell them things. Ask them whether or not they understood the content, right? Let me check my notes to make sure I ain't missing nothing. Now, the last fact that I want to make sure I say to you is that children are smart enough to watch this movie. Turn the TV, tablet, whatever on and sit them down in front of it and prepare them to be able to ask you questions. And prepare yourself to be able to answer. And if you don't know the answer, sit down and look it up with your children. Show them that you are not perfect. Let's get rid of this myth of perfectionism and what it means to assimilate in white supremacy cultures, in education, in our workplace, even in our homes, and we don't realize that we do it. So get rid of the myth of perfectionism. And if you don't know the answer, remember to sit down and Google it, however you find information, look at a book, whatever, and include your children in those processes, because watching you learn will inspire them to learn. And that way you spread knowledge, you teach children how to use that knowledge, it turns into wisdom, because all knowledge is wisdom with action. And that's the solution. Y'all got it? So the main thing was that children are not dumb. My bad, y'all. I almost said the wrong thing. Children are not dumb. And what brought this about, the problem was that people were watching Soul on Disney Plus and saying that the content was too deep for children. The fact is, we know that that is not a fact, right? And in fact, children are very intelligent human beings, and we need to give them a chance to be able to process it in their creative minds and stop killing their creativity. The solution is to let your children watch this animated film. Sit down with them, talk to them through it, have conversations, ask them questions, do research together. Because remember, we preparing the next generation who always comes through stronger than us in any way, shape, or form that we like to see it, right? So just take the time. Now, I'm Dr. CI. Thank y'all for tuning in to For the Culture, and I'll make sure to be posting more content. Now, if you are interested, make sure you go and purchase our merchandise. We have a whole store at Diverse City. Now, how can I make the world a better place to live in today, right? Y'all go, we got a ton of different hoodies, all geared towards social justice and positive affirmations and sayings and learnings that people need to know. So again, I'm Dr. CI. Y'all look down in the description section, click on our link to our store. Go purchase our merchandise and make sure that you support Diverse City. And I'll see y'all again in For the Culture very soon. Have a great, great day.